Hi there. We are here with James Toller tonight. And James, as is often the case, is out on the road. You're near Columbus, Ohio. Is
Yeah,
that where you said you are, James?
yeah, I'm just on the outskirts of Columbus down here in Groveport.
Right. Cool. Um, that's not real terribly far from House Seat 78. You're just about one state away. For you, that's not far at all. Last time I talked to you, I think you were in Utah.
Yeah, yeah, I was a couple weeks ago. I was out in Salt Lake City, so that's a little farther away from my district than uh, Groveport, that's for sure.
So remind us again where House Seat 78 is.
It is the Toyota plant side of Georgetown, and then it covers
Mhm.
all of Harrison County and all of Hamilton.
Cool. And sorry, I got distracted. Flat forgot what I was going to say. But anyway, we wanted to go over your platform tonight, and you pointed me to your door hanger. So I just started with the door hanger, and I'm hyped that you're out there. You're ready. I remember where I was going now. I wanted to remind everybody in general, but especially if you're in the area James just described, be sure to like, comment, and share. See, I knew I was going somewhere. But because you'll help get James out there, and you'll help understand that people have more options than just the old parties. Because if you keep voting for the old parties, you're gonna keep getting the same old excrement, let's say. And I think pretty much all of us have had about enough of that. And it's always appropriate with James. He's out on the road, and the first thing I see on his door hanger is, "I'm a blue collar Kentuckian." Yes, you are. You're
That I am.
absolutely a. And you point out you're going to be fighting for the blue collar Kentuckian, and I have no doubt about that. Um, I mean, you've introduced me to some of your friends in trucking, and even that day we spent in Frankfurt. Um, I mean, the entire day you were always tying it back to people you had met on the road or people you worked with, what the truckers were going through. Um, I mean, it's real easy for people to believe that this is just an act, because that's what they're so used to getting out of politicians. But they got to remember, you're not a politician.
I am the furthest thing away from a politician. I
You're
just
a
see the
trucker.
need of I just see the need of change and the people not getting listened to with the government, And I said, well, it's time for me to step out here. Even though it may be out of my comfort zone at first, I'm getting comfortable with it now. But, you know,
Right.
at first it was completely outside of my comfort zone. But, I felt that if I didn't do it, who else was going to? And so I said, here we go.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, James, thank you for that. Um, and I'm not even in your district, but that's one of those things that's sorry, I forgot to turn do not disturb on. That's one of those things I've really learned to appreciate myself over these last few months talking to people on the show. Is I get genuinely excited about some of the people LPKY is going to send to Frankfurt, because you know they might not be in your district, but they affect you. I mean, I've already had two people in my life that needed medical marijuana, and I it's not like I have a personal interest in in marijuana. Hopefully, I won't need medical marijuana, but I've seen people who do. So that's Amanda Billings' huge thing against Whitney Chesterfield, and I'm not in Amanda's district, but I get really passionate about things like that, and I'm passionate about you getting up there too, because one of the things that I know you talk about is helping small businesses.
Yeah, I
And
really, the big thing that the government has done over the years, they went away from the small businesses where they once was, and they went to corporate America. And the small business owners have kind of been left hung out to dry,
right,
so to speak. And we've got to get these small businesses back to where they used to be, back to thriving. And it's up for the government to get them there because they've taken them away from that point. So we've got to bring them back as a government and getting in there and actually helping the small businesses. I plan on myself, Robert, of having 2 town hall meetings every single month. And that's just
nice,
basically because I want to talk to the citizens, um, my constituents, and everything. But also, the second town hall is going to be strictly for small business owners. And that way they can come in and let me know exactly what problems they're facing.
right,
If there's different problems from the month before or whatever. Because if I don't know what their problems are, I cannot help them. And
right.
I can't help fix those problems. So I will have every month just a small business owner town hall meeting just to get their opinions and where they think that the government can help more. So,
But something I think that'll help with that a lot is I think you'll have a built-in ability to empathize. And what I mean by that is, you are a worker, first of all. When you talk about, meeting with workers and regular folks, I mean, first of all, you are one. And then also, you're a small businessman. And I don't think people realize that owner operators, I mean, once you say it that way, they kind of get it. But, a lot of the truckers you see out on the road are owner operators. You're a small businessman too.
yeah, well, and that's what a lot of people don't get. 85% of the trucks that you see running these roads, 89% of the trucks that you see running these roads are all small business.
Right.
They own their own trucks. They own fleets of 100 trucks or less, and 50% of those 89 own a business with 10 trucks or less. So they're small business owners, and I've seen a lot of struggles out here over the years just in this sector of the small business. So I
Right.
can only imagine if the trucking industry, as big as it is and as great as it is supposed to be, is having so much trouble. I can only imagine what the local Kentucky small business, what they're actually facing. I mean, it has to be detrimental.
Well, I mean, probably the big place you see it, and I've never really looked inside the paperwork you have to do as an owner operator, but there's undoubtedly, there's, I don't know, licenses you have to maintain. There's certain things what sorts of things are there that you have to deal with from the small business perspective?
But you have to make sure your insurance is up to date. So that's a costly thing. Your IFTA sticker, and what the IFTA is the fuel tax uh, that you have to pay every year, and you have to have a sticker actually on your truck. Your license plates. You drive over the road, you've got to have a New York, what they call the New York cut sticker that you have to get to actually drive in New York State. Uh, you know, and
I
then
can't wait to see how many states do that.
it well, and New York's had it forever, and
Okay.
it's just as if paying the IFTA is not giving them enough money, they're going to be like, well, and then you go across the GW Bridge, you've got $100 toll to go across it. Not like New York's not making money off the trucks; they have to throw something else in there. But that's just a way to take away from. That's a way for all these state governments to take away from a small business.
Well, I
And
hope you charge a little more when you're delivering to New York City.
you try, but with rates the way they are now, you don't get it. So that's just the way it is. Uh,
Wow.
And it's sad that we have to say, well, that's just the way it is. You know, we have to take it and go with it. And we don't have to do that. If we get the people into government, like in Kentucky, we've got a lot of great candidates running in Kentucky this year. And if we get enough of us in there, we might be able to make that change for Kentucky to make it a lot better for the small businesses to thrive.
Right.
And that's my goal.
Well, you know, this isn't my show, but, well, I guess it is my show. This show is not about me. How's that? But this show is not about me, but certainly you've told me enough about the Anti-Trucking Association that when I get there, I want to look into these freaking subsidies, training the heck out of yet more drivers, because we're subsidizing training of, and it's not even necessarily drivers. We're just, think of it in general. You have too much of something and you have the federal government subsidizing creating more of them. How do we know we have too many of them? Because when we do the economics, and we've did this in another place, I won't bore you with it again tonight, but when you do the economics with it, when you go through it, it is not affordable in a lot of cases to be a truck driver. I mean, in some cases, if you're not real careful, you're essentially paying to get to drive a truck down the road. And it looks kind of fun, but those miles are going to add up.
That's right. That's right.
But, you know, you told me something earlier, because we're talking a little before the show, and you told me something about insurance and at the federal level. What was that?
Yeah, well, see, truck companies out here today, it is required by law that we carry $750,000 worth of insurance, per truck. And just last night, it was late last night, the Congress passed an amendment and to that, and it was HR 2. Anybody wants to look that up. It's 864 pages long. A lot of good stuff in there. But last year they tried to pass I believe it was a $4.9 million minimum insurance that we had to carry per truck. And of course that did not pass. So they came back and said, oh, okay, well, we've got this HR 2 here. Let's just take this down to 2.4 million and shove it into this HR 2. Everything looks good except for that. So lawmakers just say, well, okay, this looks good. Let's vote for it, you know. And now it's on Mitch McConnell's desk. Mitch McConnell, come on, it just goes without saying. That just goes without saying. You know, Mitch McConnell, that's all I gotta say. It's on his desk. You know, and
well, I'm sure he'll ask his wife what's best to do on that.
Oh yeah. Again, Mitch McConnell and Elaine Chao. You throw them two in the same sentence, you got a disaster.
Well, everybody in trucking knows who Elaine Chao is, and a lot of people know in general. But tell people who Elaine Chao is.
Elaine Chao is Mitch McConnell's wife, for one, and she is the head of the Department of Transportation. And she has no clue what she's doing, for one. She has never been in a truck, never had CDL, blah, blah, blah. And that's one reason why quite a few truck drivers actually donated to Brad Barron this weekend. Because they know if we get Mitch out of office, we get Elaine out of our way. So
thank you, sirs and madams.
We're all on board with Brad, and you know, if we can push Brad across the finish line and get him to Washington, you will not see a happier truck driving industry. We'll probably be going all over this country and just laying on our roads all the way across. I mean, we'll just be so happy, you know. So, but yeah, that bill is going to the Senate now, and actually, we tried to call Mitch McConnell's office today. Went straight to the voicemail. Voicemail box was packed full. Wouldn't accept any messages and all that. You know, truck drivers are nailing Mitch McConnell right now like crazy on this bill.
Right.
You know, we call Rand Paul, go right straight through to Rand Paul. You know, but with Mitch, there ain't no getting through to him because I'm sorry, guys. If y'all need to get a hold of him, I'm sorry. We bombarded him, but you know, it is what it is.
And that's true. I've actually had 2 or 3 pleasant conversations with people in Rand's office just over the years, call about one thing or the other. But back to small businesses. So the point is when you're an owner operator, you're the CFO, you're the bookkeeper, you're the CTO, you're the sales guy. You're absolutely everything, and there's regulations that tie into each one of those things, or at least most of those things. So that represents a lot of regulations that each and every individual has to be aware of. Otherwise, you'll get in trouble. And I've known people to get in trouble for things they didn't know. And, it's not like they were doing anything that you would think is wrong. But turns out they're doing something illegal. Go ahead.
It goes back. Let's just to say, you're running for office. I'm running for office. Just to talk to the ones that's running for office here just for a second. And if you so happen to be your own treasurer, and you make on your report, you make that $1 mistake on there, and it comes back to bite you. You can actually get in trouble for that. And that's just the same way in the trucking industry, because you look at our districts in Kentucky, you have your chair, your vice chair, your secretary, your treasurer, and all of that. Well, a true owner operator or a small business owner is all of that.
Right.
Put together. I mean, there is no, you're it. And if we as government, and that's the reason I want to have the town hall meetings every month with the small businesses, is to help them out with that role,
Right.
because it's tough. And they may be concentrating on making sure their finances are right, and then something happened through the government to make it even tougher on them. So I want to be sure that I know what's going on. That way I can take back to Frankfurt and maybe try to get them the help that they really need. So,
right. Cool. And then I know one of your things is you like to talk about voting down unnecessary taxes. Well, James, everybody votes down unnecessary things. What's well, not everyone, but what's an unnecessary tax?
Well, any and all tax is unnecessary to me and probably to you and all libertarians.
Sure.
But let's go back. Over the past year, there was a tax passed in Kentucky, a 25% vape tax.
Right.
And, that was just completely unnecessary. Why did they do it? Because they wanted more money. They try to get all this money, and then at the end of the year, they're going to say, well, the state's in the hole. We have no excess money, blah, 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 blah. It's a bunch of crap. I mean, it really is, because they're just hiding money to make it look so bad. And the unnecessary taxes is really all of it. Can we eliminate all taxes like within the first year? No, it's not going to happen. But we can reduce taxes, and then we can take away some. If we can't completely eliminate them, we can take baby steps to get down here. As I was talking to Robert before the show, Jacob Clark and myself, we actually went to Frankfurt the first time to file any kind of statement of candidacy the first time. And we was there the same day. There so happened to be a rally going on. So me and Jacob was like, well, heck, let's go back here to the rally, And we go back here, and we were talking about the property tax. And I told Jacob, I said, I'd really like to do away with the property tax. And he said, well, we may not be able to do it all at once. I said, that's my problem. I don't really know exactly how to go about phasing it out. And Jacob brought up the plan of, well, why can't we eliminate the property tax after you hit retirement age? And that was great. I caught on to that like real quick, and I was like,
sure.
You know what? I'll take that, because Jacob and myself, we're going to be working together in Frankfurt anyway. So, we can bounce ideas back and forth and try to get the best of what we got. And,
Right.
that's a great step, go in there and try to get it that way. Because once you retire, you're on that fixed budget, and you should not have to worry about a $4,000 or $5,000 property tax bill at the end of the year every single year, because you may not have it.
Right.
And so why lose it?
Well, that's always one of the things people use to try to grab power is we have to help this people, we have to help those people, and one of their favorite groups is, of course, the elderly. And, we end up with conversations with them along the way about, well, in terms of Social Security, how about you don't take, it's really 15%, but we'll do that math another day. But why don't you not take 15% of absolutely every dime they make for their entire life? That would be a good start. But even that on the side, because there's people who debate that, but why don't you just start by not doing them harm? And you can do them less harm by just not taxing them while they're retired. There's a good start. Who are you stealing that money to help?
Right. And I think that would be a big relief to them.
Sure.
Knowing that at the end of the year, they don't have to worry about that. They could be spending that money on Christmas gifts to their grandkids, at that time of year, something. I mean, at least they're going to have that much more money. I mean, money is not everything. I understand that, but somebody that's worked all their life to pay off a house note and a property note shouldn't have to worry about property taxes after they retire. It's just common sense, which government don't have any now. I understand that. We've got to reissue common sense back into the chamber whenever we get in there. But whenever we do, maybe they'll be like, you know what, that's pretty awesome. This feels great.
If
get Kentucky back.
If 8-year-olds could vote, you totally would have just went in by a landslide with that brilliant Christmas gift idea. You'd totally have locked up the Christmas gift vote.
Right. Well, maybe I can get the middle-aged vote for that, because they don't have to buy their kids as many Christmas presents, because Mama and Papa's going to be buying them a lot more. So, maybe we go that route. There
you go. You introduced me to something I didn't know you were doing, because on your door hanger, you referenced transparency. And libertarians are huge into transparency, and I don't know why we don't talk about it more. And I actually had, Yeah, we should.
And we should.
And like in our own internal meetings, like it's a thing. In our internal meetings, we're nutty about being transparent. Yet for some reason, when we're running for office, we don't talk about it enough. And that's the one Republican I can think of at the state level. You're gonna be in Frankfurt with her, is Adrienne Southworth, and I had her on the show talking. But everybody loves Adrienne because she is all for transparency, and she doesn't talk lip service. She does it. She's taking heat for it. Yay, Adrienne! I already thanked her, but I'm sure she's tuned in to see what I have to say tonight. Congrats, Adrienne. She's not really. But James showed me this thing he's doing. Is he has a page here you can go to, and you can see he reports his contributions every day. And here we have some photos of some receipts. I don't know if you can read this or not. I'll try to make it a little bigger, but here we go. We have this. Well, this is just miscellaneous Rev Other for $5, James. What is that?
What that is it was an ethics paperwork that had to be filled out and sent in by a certain time frame to Frankfurt for the campaign. So
I see.
until I figured out exactly how to fill that paper out, I kind of waited off, and luckily enough, it came to me like the night before the last mailing day to get it to Frankfurt on time. So I got it filled out, and I just took it to the post office, and I sent it out. It cost me $5. Actually, if you go to the next picture on that, you can actually see the paperwork. There's the paperwork that I had to fill out and send in. You know, I've got a lot of things on there. Every time money comes in, I put it on there. Every time money goes out, I post it on there with the receipt and exactly what that was for. I'll have a picture of it if I have it. If I don't, I just put the receipt on there. You know, it's all about transparency. And, you know, just like I'm doing with this website with my donors to the campaign, day one in office, I'll have a website strictly for the constituents to go onto, and it will be updated at the end of every day as far as what's been talked about in the chamber, what new bills were brought up, and what bill is next to be voted on. That way my constituents can come back and tell me exactly what they think about that bill or what they think about what was talked about in session that day.
I want to ask you a question about this phone number on here, James.
Uh-huh.
Now, does that go to like a phone bank or pool where just anybody on your staff answers it, or does that go straight to the chief of staff there?
What is that?
I'm just referencing the phone number on the paperwork you filled out.
If anybody sees any phone number, it's more than likely going to be my cell phone number, because I put my cell phone number out there. I don't care. I put my cell phone number out there so people can talk to me and not anybody else.
That was my point. All right, but you know, everybody talks about transparency, but you're doing it. Oh, this one you told me this one before. This was the one we looked at before. This was 4 yard signs, and then there's your yard sign.
Yeah, you know.
Well, that's a nice looking yard sign, James. Where do I get me one of those?
If you want one, you just let me know and I will bring you. I'm not charging anything for it, because you know what? The people that I'm in this election for, the hardworking, everyday, blue-collar Kentuckian, they get enough of their money taken away from them right now. I don't even want to ask you for money for my yard sign. I will bring you one. I'll even put it in your yard. You just tell me where. All
right. So they just ping you on Facebook, James? Or they could call your chief of staff on that phone number we just looked at.
Yeah, exactly. You know, either one, you know. You can go over to you can either go over to the campaign Facebook page, James Toller for Kentucky 78th District, and you can send myself or my campaign team a message on there. You can send me a PM on Facebook, or again, just like I just said, 502-735-3073. That's my personal cell phone number. It's beside me all day, every day. You can give me a call and say, hey, man, I like to have a yard sign. Or you just give me a call and say, hey, let's talk about this. We have this issue. Let's talk about it. Let's see where you're at. You know, so I'll be glad to talk to anybody about anything. If you do want a yard sign, let me know. I'll have you one in a heartbeat.
Cool. And then the other thing we just wanted to touch on, but it's short and sweet, is you advertise that you work strictly for the people that pay you, and you don't mean the state treasurer. You mean the voters. You mean the people who actually pay you.
That's right. That actually pay me. Yeah, the state's from. The money and the check says the state treasury on it, but the people that really pay me is the taxpayers of Kentucky, my constituents that put me in office. And I will never work for the government. I will vow and I will promise that. That is the only campaign promise that I ever make, is that I promise that I will never work for the government. I never have worked for the government. I will only work for you, the constituents, the ones that put me in office.
So you'll be working for the people. You'll just be working at the government.
That's right. That's right. You know, I want to be their voice because they don't have a voice, a true voice in government anymore. You know, and I want to be that person in Frankfurt standing up for my constituents and not the government.
Excellent. Did anybody have any questions? I'll go over a couple more things, but chime in with questions if you've got them by all means. Do remember to like, comment, share. The best way to get James out there is to game the social media a little bit. Also, I wanted to point out to people that you can go to lpky.org, and up here at the top you have 2020 candidates. You can click right there on 2020 candidates, and oh my God, look at this handsome fellow. You can yeah, you can scroll through.
There's the handsome one right there.
Oh, well, that one's okay, but man, compared to that other one.
But we've got a lot of great candidates right there. I mean,
yeah, absolutely. So, you know, support them one, support them all. And of course, if you're not already a member, I do encourage you to, it's hidden at the bottom somewhere. There's a place you can come in here and sign up. Go to sign up. And we don't go over this enough either. This is the big thing we ask. Make it a little larger. This is a big thing we ask of our members is you got to sign a little pledge. Actually, if you're going to be a member of the party, like not just vote for James, but if you're going to be like coming and to like conventions and voting and stuff like that, you got to sign this. And it says that you certify you do not believe in or advocate the initiation of force as a means of achieving social, economic, or political goals. And that's just one of my pet things I love. So I love to show that off every now and then. And then also, of course, if you have worked your way through all the state candidates and you've max contributed all of them, and you're sure James has everything he needs, and you still got money and you don't know what to do with it, come on over to perry4ky.com and give me some love too, because actually I'm burning through some cash this year, so I could use the help.
And it's real simple, to donate to my campaign as well. You don't even have to do nothing but text. And that's it. You can text KY Freedom. That's KYFREEDOM, all one word, all together to 22525, and donate just like that. It's real simple.
That's excellent. James, thank you so much for joining tonight and telling us a little bit about what you're about. And be safe on the road, man.
Will do. Thank you, Robert, for having me again. At least we got through it this time.
We got through it. Yeah, last time we got sidetracked, if you didn't see that one, folks. But
that's right. Thank you, Robert. I appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening. Like, comment, share.